Hey friends, welcome back. Today we're chatting about all the books that I read in the month of August. Nope, September. All of the books that I read in September. September wrap up. Let's go. There are 9 books sitting here and I think that's all that I read. To be completely honest, I've been so bad at logging my reading the last 3 months, but I think I read 9 books. One of them being The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. This is a cozy fantasy, rivaling Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. And I mean that. I mean that with my full chest because I am a Legends and Lattes stan. That book and Bookshops and Bone Dust, both of them are 5 out of 5 reads. I love them both so much. This one is literally right up there with it. This is a 5-star read for me. Our main characters are Kayla and then a sentient snake plant named Kaz. They are escaping the mainland. There was a fire in the library where they work, well, where Kayla works, and they gathered as many books as they could and then escaped to the island where she actually grew up, where she's from. They're sort of hiding there because how the fire got started in the library is involved in some civil unrest basically. So they're hiding from the mainland, not wanting to be involved, and they just find themselves in this little small cozy island town with all of these people and creatures, and the vibes are so lovely. There's a bakery and Kayla realizes that there's something that the bakery is missing. There's something that the market is missing on this island, and it is jam. So using a little bit of illegal magic, she starts making jam and selling that as well as remedies, which are basically spells, to the local townfolk. And there's a love interest, there is drama, there's magic, there's so much. There's so much to love about it, and it's so cozy. I loved it a lot. This 5 stars, why the heck not? Listen, let me tell you about The Unmothers by Leslie J. Anderson. If you remember in my TBR video, wow, I haven't done a wrap up, a sole purpose wrap up in a while. Things have been rough. Anyways, if you watched my TBR video, I was scared. I was scared to read this because this is about our main character, Marshall, who's a reporter or a journalist, and her husband just recently died and she hasn't been doing well at work. Her boss sends her to this really small town. Can you tell I like small towns? Sends her to this really small town to investigate this claim that a human baby boy was born from a horse. And she's going to investigate this mystery. There are implications with that theory that I don't like, right? It's not a good feeling. But obviously, if you're on the same page as me, you're thinking that did a person, with a horse, and I want to say funny, it's not necessarily funny, but that idea was joked about on page 3 or whatever. Leslie is well aware of what this could sound like from the outside. But what this actually is a phenomenal, in my opinion, meditation on motherhood, grief, trauma, and folk mystery horror. This is categorized as a horror book, I believe, but with a mystery thriller aspect. I think that it's mismarketed because it's very light on the horror. It is at its core a mystery book with some light horror, specifically folk horror elements. I was so pleasantly surprised. I was so scared that there was going to be on-page animal brutality and, things like that I will not read. I cannot read. There are some disturbing imagery of dead animals or dead things, but I'm a baby with those things and I was okay. Take that with what you will. I'm so glad I read this. It's might be on my most surprising of the year, to be completely honest. This book also made me realize that I love folk horror. I'm still kind of new to the horror genre. I know I like psychological horror, but now I know that I love folk horror. And now that I know that it has a word and a term, give me your recs. I want more recs like this. I thought it was really good, really solid. I'm settling on a 4 or a 4.5, honestly. Next, let's go with This Ravenous Fate by Hayley Dennings. This is a queer black vampires in Harlem 1920s. Enemies to lovers, best friends who got torn apart from this really traumatic event where one of them tried to kill the other. There's Alyssa and Layla, and Alyssa's family kind of runs the town, and Layla is now known as a reaper or a vampire basically. Alyssa's family is in the business of trying to eradicate reapers, and now if you're catching up, Alyssa's old best friend who tried to kill Elise is a reaper. So it's messy. There's a weird mystery going on where there's been some mutations or changes in the way that reapers are existing as well as dying. There are some weird mysteries going on, and this is the first book I think in just a duology, and I ate it up. I read this very slowly over the course of a few weeks because I had it on my Kindle and I was just reading it whenever I had a break at work, and then I got so invested that I had to just sit down and finish it in 2 days. I think Hayley's writing is phenomenal. I think her storytelling is really solid. I do really feel for the characters, and I am so excited to continue and read the second book. I think that sometimes it felt a little bit tropey, but not in a bad way. I feel very strongly about a really solid 4. I definitely recommend this one. So far, it seems like I had a really good reading month, actually. Then I read The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. This was one of my most anticipated of the year. It was also my book club pick last month, as well as Literally Dead book club pick for this month that I'm actually a guest on, so that's really exciting. I'm excited to see how that conversation goes because I'm wondering how I'll feel about it after we all discuss it a little bit further, because I felt sort of lukewarm about it, and I still do, because this is about a summer camp and this girl named Barbara Van Laar who goes missing. One morning all the campers wake up and she's just gone. But the thing is this is not the first time a Van Laar child has gone missing from this specific camp. So there's a big mystery. I think this book is mismarketed because I think it's marketed as a thriller. It is not. It is a very, very slow burn mystery. There's nothing really thrilling about it. There are multiple timelines, multiple point of views, and I still liked it. Like, the thing is I liked the atmosphere, I liked the characters, I was definitely invested the whole time, but I think it was like almost there so many times. Like, I really wanted it to get just like a little bit crazier or go a little bit further in the, like, I don't know, creepy parts. Like, it's one of those books for me where I don't know exactly what to say about it because I did like the writing and I did like the story, but it wasn't like, I don't want to say worth it because I am glad that I read it, but like, I know there will be many people who are like, that's too many pages for this story, and you wouldn't be wrong. These next 3 books are actually in a reading vlog, so I'm not gonna like go into big details here, but this was the 5th episode, I think, of my 5-star showdown, where I take 5-star predictions for me, one from myself, one from my Patreon, and one from YouTube, and I pit them against each other. There's a point system, there's a bracket, there's only one more episode left, so I'll leave the playlist down below if you want to catch up on that series. It's been really fun. I'm really excited for the final episode, but this episode had these 3 books. My 5-star prediction for myself was The Man Who Died Twice by Richard Osman. YouTube's was The Echo of Old Books by Barbara Davis, and We Ride Upon Sticks by Quan Berry. I don't want to be annoying and not tell you my star ratings here and make you go watch a full video because it's an hour long. Like, it's cozy. It's a fun time. So how about this? I don't want to spoil that whole video. I'm going to rank these from favorite to least favorite of this video, and then you can go watch. I'm going to do it anyway. Because I don't want to spoil that video, okay? If you actually care. Favorite to least favorite, Echo of Old Books, then The Man Who Died Twice, and then We Ride Upon Sticks. In one way or another, I would recommend all of them. Definitely would recommend the top 2 though. That's where I'll leave it. Then I listened to They Can't Kill Us Until They Kill Us by Hani Fadurakib on audio, which is really the correct way to consume this story. There is one essay in here that he like didn't narrate, and he told you that it has to be read physically, and that was a really cool essay too. Like, I really appreciated so much about this book. I think it's really amazing what he did, talking about race, culture, and music in a way that is so accessible to literally so many people. Tying in all of these different artists and talking about these social issues, I think was such a feat, and he did such a good job. I think his prose and his writing is phenomenal, and the way he delivers it, because he narrates it too, the way he delivers the story, stunning. 10 out of 10. For me, this one was probably like a 4 or a 4.5, just because I didn't listen to a lot of the music artists that he talks about. So there was a little bit of like I don't understand the references sort of thing, but like the essays like with Chance the Rapper, literally so good. The little references that he did make that I did understand in that essay because I love Chance the Rapper makes it such like you're finding little Easter eggs within his prose and stories. And it was just such a great time. So, Caleb actually read this last month as well because I had told him that I think that he would really like it, and he also had a great time with it. So if you like music and you want to listen to a really phenomenal nonfiction, definitely do this one. Lastly, I think it's the last one, I read Open Throat by Henry Hoke. This is about a little queer mountain lion that lives underneath the Hollywood sign, and it is told in these like really open, like single sentence, sometimes just like few word lines, because your narrator literally is a mountain lion. So it doesn't necessarily have the ability or capability to string together a bunch of, I don't know, higher level thinking. So the mountain lion is just sort of like observing what's going on around them and relaying to you information that we understand, but they don't understand. So it's very much just sort of like a very thought-provoking read, because it talks about like social issues, the unhoused population, global warming, and it says alienation, as well as what it means to be a sentient being in today's world. There's so much I love about this. It's one that I want to reread at like physically and read it slowly and sort of like take notes in the margins, because I think that it was done really, really well. I think it was such a interesting point of view to be following. Very weird, but like in the best way. Hello? Hi, Caleb just got home. This video is basically done though. I'm giving this like a 4.5
out of,
I think 5.
5.
I feel good with a 4.5, but that's it. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me for a little bit. Let me know what your favorite book was last month down below, or if you're interested in any of these ones. But if you don't know what else to say, then leave me the pumpkin emoji down below in the comments. And while you're down there, please do subscribe and like the video. I always appreciate your support. And of course, be kind to one another and happy reading. Bye.